everybody, what's up? This is Trey Hearns, The Truth, where I spit nothing but the truth on my channel. I wanted to cover this story that took place not too long ago in Arlington, Texas, at a high school called Timberview. The story says that a teenager opened fire on the second floor around 9 o'clock, and they had to escort the students out of the building. It was 3 people that was injured. I believe 4 went to the hospital, but I think that 3 had really got injured where they had to be transported to the hospital. 1 was a pregnant woman that was a staff. It was another male adult. And then it was a 15-year-old that is in critical condition. So we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about this story. So I want to talk about what really escalated the fight. Not all of the information is in, not all the details are in, but we're talking about young people. The boy was 18 years old. When we hear stories like this, he opened fire, we immediately, want to say that the boy is a horrible person because he used a gun. And I'm not saying he's a horrible person, but he should have, thought, took a second to think and been like, is it worth it? So that's what I want to talk about, and that's what I want to cover today, because I like to look at the story on all different angles. I understand that, people, staff, students are scared. The public, us viewers, we're scared. We're terrified, even for the parents that had their kids in the school. So let's talk about that first, because when boom, you heard shooting on the second floor, everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. Staff, students are scared. Everybody's locked in classrooms, fearing for their life because they don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know if that's going to be their last day on earth. People are probably calling their parents. Just everybody is just losing themselves because you have a gunman that's upstairs and they don't know what's going on. I remember one time when I was at a restaurant and a guy came in with a gun and he pointed the gun at the clerk, and I was like no more than 10 feet from the guy. So if I got up, boom, this man would have took me out. And I just lost it. I froze up. Emotions went high. I wasn't thinking. I took off. That was the first thing I did was took off, and I was looking at the gunman because if he had turned around, he would have shot me. So I remember running to the exit, and as soon as I opened the door, boom, 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 I heard shots fired. And when I got outside, I remember people telling me that he started shooting at the exit where you opened the door. So I remember being outside, and I want to get back to the story real quick, but I want to say this. I remember being outside, not knowing where the gunman was, and everybody was terrified and everybody was shaking. And we was like, do we run to the front or do we run to the back? Because we didn't want to run to the front and we meet him and he starts shooting. We didn't know if there was people outside that was waiting with him as he was robbing this place that might shoot us because we saw them. You understand? So it's a lot that's going on. So therefore, when it comes to that aspect, I can definitely identify with what those teachers, the students, and the staff was feeling, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's been so many stories where people have had last texts and tweets. Family, I love you. Mom, I love you. Remember me. And boom, that's it. So at that moment, those people don't know what their next moments were going to be like. So that's from talking from the staff and the students and teachers' perspective when a person has a gun. So let's talk about the perspective of the shooter. So he has a gun. He injured a couple of people. But what happened to cause him to get to that point? And somebody has said on the news that it was a fight that had escalated before he pulled out the gun and started shooting, before he retaliated. They beat him up, is what the news said. He got into a fight and he had got beaten up. Understand that to every reaction comes from some type of action. Not everybody reacts the same. Some people might fight back and some people might go home and get a gun, but he already had the gun on campus. So that lets me know that he already knew something was getting ready to go down. So my guess is that whoever beat him up, this had to be planned for him to come and plan to have the gun. It was premeditated, is what I would say. So whatever was going on with these kids, he was probably getting picked on, probably getting bullied, because this is we are not even at the 6-month mark of the school year yet. So kids, from being locked up in the house because of the pandemic, unable to go to school, they finally get their taste of freedom. And what do? They go back to doing the same thing, go back to bullying. They even had a challenge called slapping the teacher. Kids, young people, teenagers are forever doing something, and bullying is one of it. Bullying on social media. So it's no telling what they did to this young boy to cause him to get to where he is now. I'm not taking up for this young man because I do not believe in violence, especially not by gun, because you take a person's life, there are consequences. But what I am saying and what I'm encouraging parents and teachers and staff members and students to do, you're going to have to start thinking. If you're in a classroom and you hear a person, we don't like snitching, but it's either snitch or have the whole entire school shot up. So you're going to have to use your head. If a child was in the classroom with this boy when all this was going on previous to the days prior to this, and they heard, hey, this person's getting picked on, I would start monitoring that activity and be like, you know what, teacher, I'm not saying that this person is going to do anything, but they was picking on him really, really bad. And I heard him say that I'm going to come back and get y'all. And I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention before something tragic happens and we be on the news. You got to have people that will stand up to situations like this. A lot of people go timid, they go quiet, they don't want to deal with it. But we got to start standing up to situations like this. And I'm pretty sure that everyone that was involved, because they said there were some tweets that was on social media. Some people had put some stuff on Facebook. I know everybody started erasing their stuff because, the law was involved. But I believe that everyone who wrote something on Facebook about this boy prior to this happening, they all need to be taken into custody and sat down, and they need to talk. Because it's a possibility that somebody could have threatened this boy's life. Something could have happened that made this boy get to this point right here. Because I don't believe this little boy just got up and said, I'm going to shoot up the school today. No, it was a fight that broke out that probably, because of something that happened a few days ago, getting into it on social media, backwards and forth talking, anything could have happened. And I think that the investigators in the school, superintendent, y'all need to look into this, because kids just don't do anything for nothing. And I believe that even parents, y'all need to pay attention to y'all children's behavior. Pay attention to the behavior. Parents are always on social media worrying about different celebrities' business and trying to figure out what's trending. You need to find out what's trending inside of your household. What's going on with your kids. If you notice a slight change in your kids' behavior, start pulling your kids to the side, talking to your kids, what's going on with you? Because I noticed that you didn't walk home with Sally and them the other day. What's going on? You normally go with Timmy to the park. What's going on? How come you and Timmy are not friends anymore? Because you don't know where your child's mental ability, where their mental capacity is. You don't know what's going on in your kid's mind these days. You don't know what triggers them. Sometimes parents think that kids are strong and kids are on the verge of committing suicide. You understand what I'm saying? I would encourage parents to talk to your children and sit your kids down, and don't just pass it off as they'll be all right. No, sit them down, because they might be getting ready to shoot up the school on tomorrow. Check your kids' backpack. Go into their rooms and find out, make sure they don't have guns up under their mattresses. I'm serious. Find out who your kids' friends are. Let the friends come over. Just sit down and talk. Find out where their friends' minds are. Because sometimes we just think that everybody is good. Oh, that's Timmy's friend. He all right. He good. And Timmy's friend is sitting up here building a bomb in the basement. And your child is helping getting parts from the science lab or whatever to help them do it. Stop always thinking that your kids are innocent, because they're not. So this young boy is going to be charged with multiple counts for the aggravated assault, for bringing the gun. And that's what has to happen, because like the old saying, if you do the crime, you got to do the time. And he has to do the time for what he did. But I want parents, to talk to your children about bullying, because this could have been prevented. It could have been prevented. There were signs that was leading up to this event, and I think that teachers and parents and staff, y'all need to be in meetings talking about stuff like this. Instead of trying to do fundraisers to bring in money for the school, y'all need to start doing stuff that's going to be helpful to the school body, to staff, and to parents. And also, kids, if you're getting bullied at school, talk to your parents. Tell your parents, get down to that school and find out what's going on with Johnny. Instead of just saying, oh, it makes you strong for someone to bully you. Wrong answer. Get down to that school and find out exactly what's going on with your child. I believe that. That's real talk. Stop letting everything fly and get down and handle the situation. Also, this last thing is for students. If a fight break out and somebody beats you up, get on the phone and call your parents. You call and talk to everybody else. Use your phone for everything else. Call your parents and say, hey, Mom, I just got into a fight. Parents, once you hear that, get down to that school. My child just got into a fight, because fights these days, kids hide out from teachers. People don't even find out until they look on social media. Get down to that school. I want to pull my child out of class. They just told me they got into a fight. Do something, or I'm going to have the police up here. And that's real talk. So my prayers go out to the people who was involved in the shooting. I pray that you guys have a full recovery and that they find out all the details to the story as to why this young man did what he did. I'm Trey Hearns, the Truth, and I'm out of here.